At some point in our lives, we have all wondered when we will die. But what if we lived in a universe where your exact death date was common knowledge? How would society function? What would be different? Let's explore this world together. This concept might remind you of the movie In Time, directed by Andrew Niccol. In that world, people have a flashing countdown timer on their arms, trading time like currency, buying a cup of coffee with a few minutes of their lives. But our scenario is fundamentally different. The clock on your wrist doesn't show tradable currency. It shows a single, absolute date. The exact millisecond your body is biologically projected to fail. Now, let's be clear. If your wrist says you have 20 years left, that only measures your internal biological engine, independent of external violence. It is not a protective shield. If you have 20 years left, but you get hit by a car while crossing the street, you still die. The device calculates the physical trauma in microseconds, instantly updating your display. After the impact, you might look down and see you only have 30 seconds left. It's a monitor, not armor. So, how does this change human behavior? Imagine a man lighting a cigarette. The exact second the toxic smoke hits his lungs, you would watch his clock violently drop, minute by minute. Right next to him, a cyclist paces their ride perfectly, keeping their heart rate in the ideal cardiovascular zone. The clock acknowledges the optimization, granting them plus 25 minutes as a biological reward. We all have bad habits, but if we saw them physically stealing hours from our lives in real time, could we really keep doing them? Would you still take a bite of that burger or those potato chips if you watched them erase hours of your future right before your eyes? This constant feedback would radically optimize our daily choices. Consider a modern traffic jam. The intense stress and the toxic exhaust fumes would actively drain minutes from everyone stuck in gridlock. Instead of sitting there watching their lives slip away, anyone who wasn't in a rush would completely abandon car culture. They would turn to cycling or walking, simply to protect their time. Economic structures would also collapse and rebuild. Today, salaries are based on market demand. In this world, wages would be dictated by biological wear and tear. Think of the Chernobyl disaster. The workers who went into the nuclear reactor died within a year because they couldn't see the invisible radiation. If they had this clock on their wrists, watching their remaining years drop by weeks every single second, no amount of money could have forced them to stay. Healthcare would shift from treatment to absolute prevention. Today, thousands die from late-stage cancer diagnoses. In this world, the clock acts as an automated, built-in checkup system. The moment your expiration date begins to pull backward unexpectedly, you know something is wrong internally. You don't wait for symptoms. You go straight to the hospital. Unhealthy food products would vanish from the market instantly. Invisible environmental threats would be exposed. If a hidden cell tower is radiating your home, or a nearby factory is leaking heavy metals into your water, your wrist will flag it immediately. The legal penalties for corporations destroying public health would be devastating. This metric would even reshape our deepest social institutions. In modern dating, age is a major factor. In this world, your remaining lifespan becomes the ultimate compatibility test. People would seek partners with a matching chronological window, choosing to grow old and expire together. Even politics would change. Measuring a government's success would no longer be about GDP or inflation. It would be entirely literal. The political party that increases the average lifespan of the population wins the election. But would this clock only bring positive change? Absolutely not. Even today, Humanity is deeply terrified of aging and death. We hide our real ages, spend fortunes to look younger, and desperately chase eternal youth. Forcing people to look at the exact date of their demise wouldn't bring peace. It would trigger collective madness. The sheer existence of this countdown would create intense, chronic anxiety. And in a cruel twist of biological irony, that very stress would spike your cortisol levels, wearing down your heart, and actively pulling your death date closer every single second. The fear of death literally becomes the cause of death. It would drive society to a breaking point. Millions of people would completely tape over their wrists, painting them black or covering them with heavy bands, choosing the chaotic freedom of ignorance over the sterile horror of certainty. From a financial perspective, this situation could also put us in a difficult position. Today, your age and health status play a significant role in loan applications. But in this universe, your remaining lifespan would directly limit the credit you could receive. After all, no bank would ever give a loan to someone who doesn't have enough time left to pay it back. Look at the bigger picture. In a world like this, where every single choice has a visible cost, the average human lifespan could easily surpass 100 years. Healthy eating and regular exercise would skyrocket, transforming us into a species of perfect biological optimization. But at what cost? This brings us to the ultimate question. Would you truly want to live in this universe? Would you want to look at your wrist every single morning, watching the exact millisecond your story ends? Or would the absolute comfort of ignorance, the relief of not carrying that crushing psychological weight, be a genuinely better way to live? After all, are we actually living our lives, or are we just managing our survival? Think about it. Thanks for joining. See you in the next Systemic Fracture.